Hello and welcome back to another Warframe video. Today I will be talking about Kullervo. He got a new augment, and let's just get to this out of the way. It basically makes him immortal. While you have his second ability active, you basically cannot die as long as you're staying in the fight, which Kullervo, again, will always want to be in the fight. So, first off, I'll talk about shards, I guess. So I got two of the Tauforge Violet Archon shards, right? Both of them are on the gain 37% melee crit damage, and then when max energy is over 500, the damage boost is doubled, which my energy is at 641, which I'll show you in a little bit. And then instead of going more of the violet ones, I went with two of the crimson ones for ability strength, just to boost your other abilities, which will boost your it'll boost everything in general anyways, but yeah, you got the crit damage, ability strength, and then we got one Amber Archon shard for energy filled on spawn. This just helps you get into your into the groove a little bit faster, right?
If I may say,
so
your chosen Warframe suits you.
It's pretty simple, but extremely effective, right? Steel charge, increases melee damage, basic. And then power drift for ability strength. The chance to resist knockdown doesn't really matter to Kullervo because he's going to have overguard at all times, so he really can't be staggered. And then for more ability strength, we've got Mars Hatred, Blind Rage, and then Umbral Intensify. I went with the Umbral set instead of just like Archon Intensify because it's going to give you a bit more of a boost, but he also needs health and armor, so it's like, might as well, right? Prime Flow, that's going to help us get over that 500 energy max limit, so we got the double crit damage. And then Prime Continuity for ability duration. With how recompense is augment, it works, you want to build for range and duration. I mean, also strength, but it used to be that we would just, duration didn't matter really, and range not too much, right? Because you're just going to keep spamming that ability. But now that recompense is staying out, you're going to want to keep your duration up and your range up, right? So I took off narrow-minded and put on the violet recompense because we don't really want to get that minus range. We want it pretty wide, so we're getting as many hits with recompense as possible. And then, of course, Wrathful Advance. Before our stacks, that gets us up to a 672% melee crit chance with 15.5 second duration. Now, I did take off his fourth and put on Nourish. Roar would also work, but at the same time, I did with negative efficiency, right? Because I want to be able to use as much energy as possible to activate the effects of your companions. I put Nourish on so that we're staying constantly at like full energy throughout the entire mission. As for Arcanes, I went with Molt Augmented for more ability strength, right? You can never have too much ability strength, especially with this. And then Arcane Impetus. I know you might be thinking, why not just like Molt Reconstruct or Molt Efficiency? But Impetus is, it's giving us unique status effects from abilities, grant plus 6% ability strength, right? And plus 3% ability efficiency. It gets our efficiency up a little bit while also increasing our ability strength. And with how we have it set up, Nourish does viral, so that's one. And then Recompense gives us Blast and Slash. That's up to 3, that's 18%. And then if I go to my melee weapon, right? I've got melee exposure on, so it's on ability cast, gain 40% corrosion damage on melee strikes, which for some reason it counts as abilities. I don't know why, but it was working where it was giving us an additional status effect for it, right? So when I go into a mission, I'll show you exactly what I mean. So here we are in the mission, right? Pop nourish, and you pop your recompense. Get some enemies nearby, but then we're gonna activate this and get our crit chance going up. So we get our kills. As you can see, he's causing, even like this Guando, just so much damage, right? And you're just one-shotting everything. But you want to keep your Wrathful Advance up, right? You want to try and time Wrathful Advance to when you have your Tennokai bubble up so that it doesn't reduce your combo counter, right? So you see that. Kind of timed out there, but it is what it is. Keep your 2 and 4 up at all times. You want to try and keep your 1 up as well. I know it can be a little challenging sometimes because it's kind of a shorter timer, but at the same time, this, there we go, so he doesn't take down any count for the combo multiplier. And then once we get to the Acolyte to spawn, you can see just how easily, like it used to be that, you know, you pop your 1 to kill him instantly. You don't even have to do that, right? If he's just in the enemy area, he's dead. It's super easy. He cannot die because recompense is staying upright, so you're constantly hitting and getting overguard. If you keep that up, this is Steel Path, right? And he's not struggling at all. Even with the Wrathful Advance counter down, and he's, you know, still getting millions of damage. And then to use more energy, I will every once in a while activate the 3, just so I can, you know, use up energy while also getting more damage. If you do this, right, this build, I sometimes will recommend, like, on your melee, do heavy attack wind-up speed, if you've got the room, just so that you get, you know, it increases your 1 as well. It's just, a lot of the times, I don't have room for it on my weapon, so I just ignore it, but it can be extremely helpful. Alright, so here's the Acolyte spawning in. I'm not going to activate my abilities on him. And yeah, he did, right? Nourish even ran out on that one right before I hit him. So Kullervo is absolutely busted. They were cooking with this new Augment. I don't know how to describe it except for like a stronger Rev almost, right? Or Dante, right? Where you're immortal. You aren't taking damage. Unlike Rev, like this applies to Dante as well, but Dante and Kullervo, Steinax, all of them with all the overguard, they're not really being affected by status procs, whereas where Rev can be affected by status procs, and that can get him killed, but at the same time, you do got to be careful because you got to be in the action with Kullervo, right? Steinax, you just keep popping your 4, but with this, I mean, you don't have to keep spamming an ability, like just like Dante's double light verse. You just have to keep killing enemies with Dante getting assist, but this, you just have to keep hitting them, right? Just be in the area around them, and you have overguard, right? You're not dying. Unlike those, though, you're not buffing your allies, so there's that. Alright, back here on the ship, right? and final thoughts on it, right? This augment makes Kullervo absolutely busted. I will say though, if you don't want to run Nourish, right, I would not recommend running the Arcane Impetus. Instead, I would actually recommend Arcane Truculence, right? When gaining 3,000 or more Overguard threshold, release a 30-meter radial attack that applies max viral status stacks. You won't really uh, like get this super often until you get to super high level enemies, right? Because you got to get enemies that will actually deal enough damage to get your Overguard down. But at the same time, you'll be getting a bunch of viral status, right? Which will help increase, say you're running melee and you throw on Galvanized Elementalist, right? And you just keep, like, you put on Condition Overload. Get more status on the enemies, so you're killing them faster. I mean, how Kullervo is right now, you're running so much crit that it kills enemies like one shot, no matter what level they are, how much health, armor they have. It's no problem, right? He is absolutely busted. I would expect in the future they might nerf this a little bit, but as of right now, he's ridiculously strong. If you need a frame to go through Steel Path, this will be super easy for you. Say if you're getting right into Steel Path, right, you know, just regular continuity, regular flow, and then of course you'll have the Umbral mods, so it's not too big of a deal. And then of course the volatile recompense you just get from the syndicates, so you'll have all those, right? Power Drift you'll get from the Vaults on Lua. Blind Rage you'll get from Deimos Vaults, and then Amara's Hatred, it's just it's bounties on either Deimos or Fortuna, one of them. But yeah, it super easy build here. Even without these Archon shards, he's still putting up insane numbers, and you don't really need them. But at the same time, this just makes it so you are killing everything, and there's like nothing that can stop you. Like you saw, the Acolyte just died right away, right? Once you get all your stacks up, it basically gets to one shot where you don't even see him spawn, and he just is immediately dead. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. Hope you try this out, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.